everybody. Give me a second to come on in. Or for you guys to come on in, rather. I want to make sure that we have everything on our end together. Hey. It has been a day. I hope that all is well. I don't know about you, but I am happy that it is now one more day before Friday. So, hey, we are going to get started in just a second. Bear with me. Go ahead and type in the comments. Even if you're catching the replay, let me know who you are, where you're from, and what you are excited about learning tonight. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and what you are excited about learning tonight. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And then we're going to go ahead and pop over to Instagram. One second. All right, you guys. So, again, if you are just now tuning in, welcome. Tonight, we are going to be going over how to get the media to say yes and develop your brand story. Okay, so that's one of the main focuses that we're going to be going over is how to develop your brand story so that you can get into the media. Okay, so bear with me for one more second. All right. So, if you do not know who I am, my name is Lindsay Walker. I am a publicist by trade. I work with beauty, entertainment, and lifestyle brands to help them get into the media. Okay, that is essentially what what my purpose is. It's what I'm here for. I have helped my clients get into a plethora of media outlets, including but not limited to Black Enterprise, the New York Times, Madame Noir, Forbes, CBS This Morning. The list just goes on and on. And so, like I told you guys, if you have missed any of my lives, the sole purpose of me going live is to be committed to you guys, to show you what my process is like and why you need the media right now, especially with everything that is going on in business. You need to know how to insert yourself in conversation. You need to know how to get press to, want to hear from you, want to share your story. And this is because you are the expert. Right? You are the expert. And so you want to make sure that you are constantly and consistently putting your brand into the forefront. Right? You want to make sure that you are constantly and consistently putting your brand into the forefront. So do me a favor, for those of you that are on Instagram, even those of you that are on Facebook, double tap the screen. Let me know what you want to get out of tonight. Like, what do you want to learn about developing your brand story? What do you want to learn about developing your brand story? And you guys know I'm on both devices, so bear with me. I'm trying to get the angle right for Instagram. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be looking here, looking there, looking here, looking there. Okay? All right. So again, let me know what it is that you would like to learn. Because here's the thing. I know that a lot of you are like, okay, now I'm ready to take the leap. Right? Now I'm ready to take my brand to the next level. I'm ready to activate a PR campaign. I'm ready to get into the media. I'm ready to prove, like, hey, I have a great website. I have a great product. I have amazing clients and customers. And so now this is the time, you guys. I'm moving over here so I can see. This is the time for you guys to get featured. Okay, this is the time for you to use your tools like we talked about earlier so that you can get featured into the media. Okay, And I know, like, you may have seen a million people, get featured on podcasts and magazines. And so you might be thinking, like, okay, it can't be that hard, right? Like, all you do is send an email. All you do is, just send a short pitch, and then that's it. No. Wrong, 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 wrong. Okay? Wrong. Public relations, right? The key word in public relations, it's all about relationship building. It's all about being an asset. You want to make sure that you are an asset to journalists and writers, right? And in order for you to be an asset, that also means that you have to be a valuable resource to them, right? That means that you have to be a valuable resource. And so you have to develop a story that they're going to care about. And so I want to share with you guys a couple of different tips tonight on exactly how you can do that. Like how you can bridge the gap, how you can get them to say yes, how you can start that conversation. Okay? So, if you are ready, I need y'all to heart it up. I need you to get excited. Like, I know that some of you have been on every day that I've been on, whether you're catching us live or whether you're catching a replay. So, I need to hear from you. Like, this is the time to get your questions answered. This is the time for you to really, really make sure that you are showing up. I see a couple of hearts on the screen over on Instagram, Facebook. Just hashtag replay like we always do, okay? All right. So, number one, you want to pay attention. I hope you guys grab your pens, grab your notebooks. We are about to dive deep, okay? So number one, you want to make sure that you are paying attention to what journalists write about. Pay attention to what they are writing about. Just because somebody writes for Essence, that does not mean that they will write about you. Every editor, every writer has their own beat, okay? And if you don't know what a beat is, essentially it is an industry that they cover. So you have different editors. You have beauty editors, you have fashion editors, you have business editors, you have lifestyle editors. You have so many different editors, right? And so someone that is a beauty writer, right? Y'all know I love working with beauty brands. Hello. But someone that is a beauty writer is not going to care about your new tech app unless it is beauty related, right? So before you decide to send an introduction, and a lot of you guys, let me tell y'all something. Here's what you don't want to do that a lot of people have been coming to me for. A lot of you guys are DMing these journalists. No, that is a no-no. If you do not already have a relationship with them, that is a no. You don't want to DM them because you don't want to deter them from wanting to cover your story. Does that make sense? Like, you don't want to deter them from covering your story. Key said, pen and paper ready. Yes, ma'am. Okay? So, before you decide to just blatantly email somebody, before you decide to, press send on that email, you want to make sure that you are paying attention to the writer and the stories that they featured in the past. Okay? So make sure that you guys are writing this down. So you want to ask yourself, if they have covered this beat before, if they've covered this type of story, if they've done it in the past 30 to 60 days, they are not going to want to cover you. Here's the thing. It's a window. It's a timing, right? Timing is everything. Timing is everything, you guys. And so you have to keep that in mind. Okay? Does it seem like you have something that they would be interested in? Right? So if you're pitching a beauty writer, you better come hard in the paint. If you're pitching whoever it is for your specific beat, you have to make sure that it's something that they've been interested in. That's why here's another tip. Research, you guys. And I talked about this earlier, but research is key. Research is key. You gotta make sure that you are researching these outlets. Somebody said they want to get on Good Morning America. So let's dive into that. What is it about your story? And this is actually in alignment with the question that I'm going to ask anyway. But what is it about your story that would be interesting to them? Why would they want to cover you? How are you positioning yourself as a thought leader and an asset by providing them with this particular storyline? Is this making sense to you guys? You want to make sure that before you reach out to anybody, that you understand your positioning in the marketplace. Is this making sense? You want to make sure that you understand this position in the marketplace. What is your position? Why would somebody want to do a story on you? Why? What makes you exciting? What makes you different? Is this resonating with you guys? Like, you really want to make sure that you ask yourself these questions. And it's one of the things that I teach in my accelerator program, which you guys will find out a little bit more about. But you really want to do a deep dive before you start anything within the process. Before you start anything within the process, okay? So, the second aspect that you need to think about, the second way, do I pitch monthly? I mean, if I'm pitching for clients, I'm answering this question for those of you that are on Facebook. The question is, do I pitch monthly? So I pitch daily for my clients. Pitches are sent out daily for my clients. So I don't know if you were asking my method or when you should pitch, but that's the process for us. Okay. So the second aspect, you guys, is it's all about new news, right? Nobody wants to continuously talk about the same thing. You have to make sure that you have a different angle, right? Because after a while, it may get boring. After a while, it's the same thing, right? So you want to make sure that if your competition just got featured, right? If you just saw them on a podcast that you want to be featured on, you need to make sure that you have a different viewpoint to pitch to the media. You got to make sure that you have a different viewpoint. And so, for instance, if I am a makeup artist and I just created a new vegan eyeshadow palette, if I'm preparing to pitch myself to the media, I'm going to focus on why I created that palette, what makes my product different, what people are saying about it. So if I suffered from rashes from a bunch of other, product lines, that's going to be my story. That's going to be my why. Right? And so I want to make sure that it's timely. And that's the other thing that you guys are missing. And I cannot stress this enough. You want to make sure that it's timely. So let's say, I don't want to pitch a product or a service in May if the product is coming out in July. I want to give myself a 3 to 6 month window. Write this down. A 3 to 6 month window. Proper promotion time. Why? Because that is when most publications have their lead times. That is when most publications have lead times. Like right now, if you were to want to figure out what Essence is talking about, they're already getting ready to gear up for their fall issue. I kid you not. They are already getting ready to gear up, and they're accepting pitches for the fall. Because by the time it hits July, it's already too late if you're trying to pitch something in summer for print. Okay? And that's the difference as well. Online versus print. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. That's the difference. So, you want to make sure that you have something of interest, right? And it's going to be of interest because this is the format, right? This is the format. You want to make sure that you're pitching to editors and writers who already are in love with what you cover, right? Number 2, you're giving them new news because you are giving them something that is just now being released or it's about to be released, right? Journalists love inside scoops. Write that down. Journalists love inside scoops, okay? They love inside scoops. And so you want to make sure that you are providing them with the information that their audience needs so that they can make buying decisions. That's the goal, right? The goal is for you to get visibility. The goal is for you to get more exposure. The goal is for you to get more credibility so that you can make the proper buying decision. So that your audience, so that you're getting in front of the people that can make the proper buying decision. Is this making sense? Is this resonating with you guys? If it's resonating, give me a heart down below. I know that some of you guys just came in, so we will do a recap at the end. But I really want to make sure that this is something that you guys are finding helpful, in the way that we're breaking it down. Okay? All right. So, And a bonus, you guys, a bonus. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Public relations, marketing, it is all a process. It is a process. It is a process. Okay? So if you are not allowing time, there's so many little things that you can do in 30 days. Right? And a lot of you guys have unrealistic expectations about what that looks like. Right? Yes, you have an amazing brand. Yes, you have an amazing story. Yes, you have the wherewithal. Right? But you need to give it time. You have to give it time. Like, if you don't get a placement right away, it's okay. You may not always get it right, like anything in life. Pitching to the press is all about relationships, and it is about trial and error. And sometimes, in order for you to figure out what people care about, you know what I mean? You have to figure out what they don't care about first. And so you may have to start with podcasts. You may have to start with bloggers. And then you can build upon your story. You can create and maximize the current press opportunities and connect with bigger outlets at the same time. And so you have to follow up. You have to follow up. Following up is key when you are creating a rapport and getting featured and establishing yourself in the industry. This is a long-term game. This is a long-term game. It's not a quick fix. And I may do another live on that next week. It's not a quick fix, but it does help to push the needle forward in your business. Are y'all with me? Y'all tracking with me? It helps to move the needle forward in your business. And so I wanted to make sure that I share this with you guys, because I know that a lot of people have been asking, like, Lindsay, how are some ways that we can work with you? What is it that you're doing? Like, listen, I'm making sure that you guys understand the fundamentals. Right? I'm making sure that you understand the process and that you know what it takes to develop your brand story and get and remain relevant in the industry. And that's one of the things, if you have not caught the past 2 replays from this past week, please make sure that you do so. Okay? Please make sure that you do so. Really quickly, does anybody have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Any questions about how you can get into the media? Any questions about, what this process looks like for you? Any questions about why it's helpful for your business? Ask your questions. Ask your questions. If you do not want to ask me questions here, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on Instagram, it looks so weird, like switching back and forth. But anyway, if you don't want to ask your questions here, you can always slide in my direct message. You can always slide in my messenger, and you can definitely make sure that you're connecting with me there. Awesome. Yes. So I work with clients that are in the beauty, lifestyle, and entertainment industry. I also work with those that are in the spirits industry and those that are entrepreneurs. So those are the types of clients that we serve. Whether you are starting up, whether you've been in business for a while, like, we are able to help bridge that gap for you. Okay, so where do you find out what's coming up for writers to know what they're looking for? That's a great question. Got you. Okay, so let me answer this one on Facebook, then I got y'all. Okay, so this is how you find out what they're looking for. Like, you research, right? So for instance, if I'm in the if I'm a therapist, right, and I want to know what the current trends are in therapy, number one, I'm going to Google what are the top publications for therapists. What are the top publications for beauty brands? What are the top publications for stylists, right? Those are the things that I am going to Google. Those are the things that I am going to Google. I'm going to Google those because it's going to tell me, number one, where I need to be featured, where I need to put my targets at, right? Then it's going to tell me like what type of stories that they've been featuring. So Google, you guys, when you're implementing a PR campaign, Google is going to be your best friend. Like Google, YouTube, like all of that's going to be your best friend. And also, here's a tip, okay? Editorial calendars. Google editorial calendars of your favorite publication, and I want you guys to see what pops up, okay? All right, so somebody says, I don't know where to start. I need help developing my story. If you need help developing your story, you are in the right space. I encourage you to click the link that is in my bio so that you and I can chat one-on-one and do like a deep dive of where you want to go within your business and what that looks like for you moving forward. And I'm going to pin that here. But kind of tell me a little bit more, like, what do you do? Like, what's the core of what you do? And that's the other thing, too. We have to start looking at ourselves as, you know, as more than just our job descriptions, right? We have to start looking at ourselves as more than just our job descriptions, because like a lot of times, even one of my stylist friends of mine, right, I have to tell her like, hey, you're more than just a stylist. You are a fashion architect. You are a style architect. You are a liaison, right? And so that is how we have to stop dimming our lights, you guys. And this is a whole nother conversation, but now is the time. If the world isn't teaching you anything, it's that we need leaders. It's that we need thought leaders. It's that we need people to stand up. We need influencers that actually are about making real change in their industries. And those are the types of people that I want to work with. Those are the types of people that I'm in alignment with. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what it looks like if you are not really truly walking in your purpose, and if you are not using your platform to help other people bridge the gap in their own lives and in their own platforms. And a lot of you guys are dimming your lights right now, and it's not the time for that. Now is the time where you're supposed to be a leader. Now is the time where people are looking for you. Now is the time for you to really, really start to get this visibility and start to get this exposure, because if you are not, you are doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing a disservice to other people that are connected to you. You're doing yourself a disservice to other people that are connected to you. People need you. They're looking for you. But like I talked about yesterday, a lot of us are not making the sales that we want to make because we're not showing up in the way that we should show up, because we're allowing fear to get the best of us, right? And that's not what we're called to do. And that's not what we're called to do. And so you have to make sure that when we talk about what you do, like, who are you really? How do you help really? For me, I'm a communications liaison. I'm an expert. I'm a publicity powerhouse. That is what I do, right? That is what I do. I've gotten the receipts speak for itself for those that are willing to trust the process, right? Because that's the other thing. Some of you guys aren't trusting the process, and it doesn't work overnight. It doesn't work overnight, right? And so, I want you guys to understand that it's time for you to stop dimming your light. It's time for you to show up. It's time for you to stop being afraid, right? Because you're never going to get to where you want to get to if you are living in fear, and if you're afraid to create the space for yourself to do the work. That's where the gap is missing for a lot of you guys. You're afraid to create the space to do the work. Does that make sense? Like, if I ask you right now, and you can be transparent here or transparent in the DM, but if I ask you right now, when is the last time you really truly showed up for yourself and for your business, and you made time? Because I've been doing consultations with people and all of the things, but it's like, oh, I don't have time. Well, why don't you feel that you're worth that time? Why aren't you worth the time of doing the work? If I'm giving you the blueprint, if I'm giving you the layout, if I'm giving you the tools, why are you not making time for yourself to implement? That's the bigger piece. That's the bigger question. Like, what's stopping you from making the time? If you don't want to, hire someone full out, you know what I mean? Like, what's stopping you from making the time? What's stopping you from making the time? So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Okay, the next question is, how do you market motivational speaking? Like you would market anything else, you want to start with the story. So what makes you a motivational speaker, right? What is your story? Why should someone be interested? Like really think about like, hey, what do I bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? Why should people be interested in anything from me? And I know your story, obviously, but you want to make sure that you're sharing that and that you're being transparent. And that goes back to a lot of people dimming their lights. I don't. And here's the thing, you guys. When it comes to developing brand stories, it's about your mindset. You got to move out of your own way. And here's the thing. I don't care what the next person has been through. I don't care who else went through okay, I care, right? Who else went through stage 4 cancer. But I don't care, in terms of it overshadowing my stuff. Because you didn't go through it like I did. Nobody overcame your situation and your story like you did. And if it was not meant for you to share that story, you wouldn't have made it through. That's the biggest obstacle. If it wasn't meant for you to share your story, you would not have made it through. You would not be here. And so the fact that you are here, the fact that you're even showing up to this live and even wanting to learn more information about how to get press and how to do all the things, like you know that you have a purpose. You know that you have a purpose. You know that you're meant for more. And a part of you being meant for more means taking the time out for yourself to learn what that looks like to get the exposure. Right? And so, again, that's how you market. Like all of that is how you market. Like show up. Write down the key points of your story. Write down why somebody should be interested. Write down what you overcame and the steps that it took for you to overcome it. And you craft that and you package it. Does that make sense? Are y'all with me? I know Instagram is popping. My Instagram fam is always with me. Facebook, y'all hit me on the replay and some of you guys message me in direct messenger. It is all good. But let me know how this was helpful. If you are catching the replay, let me know what you found helpful. Hit me up in the DM. Let me know if you have a question. Let me know what you found helpful. Book a consultation. Like, let's walk through this process together. Because what I don't want to see is some of you guys contacting me a year from now asking me the same question. That's what I don't want to see. That's what I don't want to see. Right? And so you need to make sure that you are deserving, right? And that you are looking at yourself from a deserving space. Like, I deserve to invest in myself. I deserve to show up. I have bad days, right? But at the end of the day, I deserve more. You deserve more, right? And so because you deserve more, like that's when you get to the space of, okay, this is where I'm ready to take my business to the next level. A lot of you guys, the only thing that's stopping you is your mindset. Like, that's the biggest obstacle. I talked about on the last live, and I'll say this real quick before we wrap up. If you guys have questions, you can continue to put them down below. But there have been so many obstacles, you guys. But those obstacles bring opportunity. And so think about the opportunities that are in front of you. Think about the opportunities of the people that you have to reach right now. Think about the opportunities of, you having to shift and pivot your business because we're in the middle of and I heard someone in one of my masterminds say this earlier, but we've been in the middle of a health pandemic and now a racial pandemic, right? But even in the midst of that, you are still needed and you're still necessary. And if you're on my email list, that is what I've been sending out. Like, hey, you're necessary and you are enough, and the world needs to know that. That is what it's all about. That is what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so, yeah, hopefully you guys found this helpful. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, hold on, because I missed a couple of things. All right, I'm a recent PR college grad starting my own PR agency. Do you have any suggestions for someone starting out and growing a business? So yeah, it's trial and error. It is definitely a matter of you figuring out what you like, what you don't like. And go visit prgirlsdoitbetterweekend.com. We have a lot of resources available on there. And if you want to chat with me, we can do that as well. Okay. All right. Somebody else said, I'm afraid of having exposure and not being able to handle the volume. So you have to ask yourself, like, and this is all a part of getting publicity. You have to ask yourself, like, okay, what do I need to do so that I can handle that volume? Right. But Don't be afraid, because when you allow that fear to get the best of you, like you halt yourself, right? You halt yourself. You stop yourself from moving forward, and that's what keeps us stagnant. Is that making sense? So I hope that number one, you book a call, and number two, that you don't allow that fear to get so heavy that it stops you from moving forward. Hey, you guys. Hey, y'all. Okay, I'm making sure I'm not missing anything. Great info. Da, da, da. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Any other questions and or comments? I appreciate you guys, and thank you guys so much for being transparent and being open and sharing and asking questions. That lets me know that you are ready to go to the next level and you're ready to go full throttle. Any other questions? Any other questions before we hop off? Okay. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of the love. I appreciate all of the questions. If you guys have any other questions, do not hesitate. Hit the link in my bio.